What up, Pittsburgh Steelers fans? Matty P here with another episode of Steelers Touching Under. We are takeaways and reactions to the Steelers' 34-11 win over the Cincinnati Bengals to go 8-7, helping them leapfrog the Bengals, putting them back in the AFC playoff spot contention. The Steelers, what a game. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, all of those good things, all of those fun stories, analogies. Mason Rudolph gets it done. First game in 2 years, absolutely lights it up. First pass of the game, touchdown to George Pickens was awesome. That's going to be takeaway number one. Mason Rudolph, I thought he had a terrific game today. Over 290 yards, 17 for 27. No interceptions. He was sacked once. That was really on the offensive line, the pocket collapsing. He had a scramble as well. There was a bit of a run there. There was one for 4 yards. That was the long one. Then there was one that was, to me, it looked like less than a yard. But look, Mason, he did terrifically well today. And when we get into talking about George Pickens, before we do that, Mason Rudolph got it to a lot of different receivers. That was the other big bonus in what he brought to the offense. I felt like, look, not necessarily if you go back and count up all the targets to different guys this season, I'm sure there are other games where Kenny and Mitch hit different blokes, but it felt like he was using the offensive weapons that he had. We saw Calvin Austin get a touchdown. I know that was in the run game, but you saw him work his way into the offense. There were 6 targets to Warren, 5 targets to Deontay, 4 targets to A-Rob, 6 targets to Pickens. It was great to see A-Rob worked in. I think that's been a bit of an untouched opportunity for the Steelers this season. A lot of people are happy to say he's old and injured, but to see him worked in by Mason Rudolph was pretty cool. Let's get straight into Pickens. I mean, the 86-yard touchdown was awesome. I thought his route running was amazing in today's game. He did the usual amazing catches, that one on the sideline. He was a weapon all day. 4 receptions from 6 targets, 195 yards. Career day for him. 2 TDs. Man, look, it's great for Pickens. It's great for Pickens to overcome a tough week as well. I thought Deontay did a lot out there. I think the stats lie about some of the stuff he did. Warren was a weapon as usual, and that was really helpful because it allowed takeaway number 3 being in Najee. It allowed Najee to have a nice day. 19 carries, 78 yards. It's an average of about 4.1. I think, it was a 4.1 just before the game ended. 1 TD. But yeah, it's awesome. Actually, it's just a little bit below 4 with the final run that he took. But he's average about 4 yards. It was 80 yards and 20 carries. But yeah, great game I thought from Najee. Awesome to see him get that TD. It was just nice. It was downhill running. They had to account when both of them on the field. They had to account for Warren in the backfield from a catching perspective. So I really, really liked that. Takeaway number 4, Eric Rowe. I thought Eric Rowe had a terrific day. And then I looked at the stat sheet at the end of the game as well, and it definitely proved that. I think he was instrumental in stopping the Bengals toward the end of the first half in the second quarter. I thought that he looked good in different spots. He did have, obviously, interception as well, and he ran it back for 25 yards, and that was really big, that run, because that put the Steelers back in the ability to score some points. It gave them good field position there, but he had 7 tackles, 3 solo. I thought it looked really good, and I'm really excited to have him in here. To me, where's Carl's Eve? What? But look, that's really big for the Steelers after what they've had tough this week. I'm keen to go back and look at the tape and see how they worked in him versus Patrick Peterson and all those different intricacies. But looked good. I thought it looked good in the first half. I was thinking, geez, he's playing well. And that continued. So that was really cool to see the Steelers fix what could have been a really big problem for them down the stretch. So hopefully that is a permanent fix for the next 2 games as well. But the 5th take that I've got for you guys is on the outside linebackers. TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith were everywhere. Alex Highsmith, 1 interception. He had 1 sack, 1 quarterback hit as well. Not too many tackles on the day recorded for him, but that's cool. He made game-winning plays. He was really instrumental in the pressure that he brought to the quarterbacks as well. Very instrumental in the other 2 interceptions. So that was big. TJ Watt, as per usual, big game. Now, you only saw 3 tackles from him, but the pressure, there was so much holding of him. Obviously, there was a penalty of a hold called on him. He had a sack as well. Miles Jack got the sack late, but really it is the outside linebackers I thought had a really big game today in TJ, Herbig, and Highsmith. And then when I did see Golden on the field, he was involved in the mix for big plays as well. So outside linebackers, that edge rushing did really well. You saw Cam Hayward. I know he's not an edge rusher. You saw him pressuring the quarterback. So probably it's a bit more that the pass rush, the pressure on the quarterback was huge today. And then the other thing was a takeaway that I wanted to close out with is penalties. Now, I've talked about penalties costing the Steelers. I've said it's been a difference when they've won the game. Steelers didn't dominate in possession today. They didn't need to because of their point scoring potency, which they've lacked all season. But 2 penalties for 15 yards is huge compared to the 8 they had last week. The 7 they'd had a cut in 3 out of the 4 games before that. So 2 penalties is a big reason why this team went forward. Dan Moore had 1. I think he might have, no, I don't think he had the other one. But he needs to clean up his game. But still, you walk away from an AFC North football game in the cold with only 2 penalties against you. That is a big, big reason why you go on and win a game. And it helps you, as Mike Tomlin's called out before, it helps you either sustain drives by not giving up penalties, or it helps you stop drives as well by not giving up penalties on defense. So awesome game for the Steelers. Merry Christmas. Rudolph leads the Steelers to victory. It was awesome to see that from basically the Steelers were in control of the game from Mason Rudolph's pass through to the end of the game. Awesome to see.
Texan Bacon Deluxe. Crispy bacon.
Merry Christmas. And the Steelers get that miracle win that Shannon and I were talking about in the previous show. And now, look, AFC playoffs. Who knows? Who knows what can happen from here? But we got to stay confident. Let's hope for a New Year miracle next. And as always, go Steelers.